Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Dean, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Kumral.
Yes, yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. All set?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure.
Okay, can you start now, sir?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Divanshi? Yes.
We'll start.
Yeah.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome everyone to the virtual event on studies in France organized by SRM Institute of Science and Technology. I'm Divyanshi.
And I'm Sanchai, and we're your hosts for today's event. So let's just start the event by asking everyone, how's everyone doing? You can just type that in the chat, how you're doing. If you're doing good, fine. Yes.
Good,
Yes.
kind of okay. Okay, that's great. I see everyone's, paying attention. So, and I hope everyone's doing well and is safe at home. So let's jump right into the program. First, I would request Mr. Kunravel K, Assistant Professor and Head of the Department of French at CSH SRMIST, to welcome and address the gathering.
Yes, very good morning, good afternoon to your extreme presence to this virtual interaction titled on studies in France. I will extend my warm welcome to our beloved Dean, Dr. G. Dresami, who always encourage us and ready to desire to give out of the best. The next, I extend my warm welcome to our Deputy Dean, Dr. Albert Anton Raj, for his constant support for even to happen. Next, I welcome to faculty members, heads of the department, and most importantly, my beloved students, without your support and enthusiasm, this would be possible. The next, I am extremely delighted to welcome our chief guest, Monsieur Eric Perrotel, Attaché Cooperation of French language. The chief guest will accept our invitation with immense pleasure. Once again, I express my gratitude to part to our program and guide our students in manifold to studying in France and extending your service to our university, the students in all way and name. Next, I thank to our management and our Vice Chancellor and the Registrar also. The warm welcome to one and all. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for that heartwarming welcome. And now I would like to invite Dr. A. Duraisamy, the Dean of College of Science and Humanities, SRMIST, to deliver the inaugural address.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you very much for having given me an opportunity to be here. I thank Dr. Kumaravel, the HOD of French, for bringing one of the eminent personalities, Eric Petrol, the guest of this function. Sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation, because this will be a motivation for our students to think about the opportunities in France. We all know that there are a lot of opportunities in terms of education for higher studies and job opportunities, cultural exchange, ideas, and we can even think about some economic integrations also at the institute level. So
You're on mute.
sorry, I'm sorry. Somebody muted everybody.
Okay, fine. Yes, sir. Yes, continue, sir.
Yeah, fine. SRM University is a multidisciplinary university, and there are a lot of tie-ups with institutes abroad, and we are always looking out for institutes who can have an interaction with us in terms of research as well as academic exchange, in terms of students exchange program or faculty exchange program. And the chief guest is the right person who can help us facilitate in these areas. And especially in terms of the French language here, we have a lot of demand for joining in this language. So whenever they join in the undergraduate degree, in the first year they have to do a course, 2 courses in the languages. That in the foreign language, among the foreign languages, French is well sought after language. Most of the younger friends are having keen interest. Keen interest in joining this French language. So that shows that there are a lot of opportunities are also available. So in this program, definitely we want to learn the different opportunities available in various area. As I told you earlier, it could be in the research, or it could be in the job opportunities, or it could be in higher studies. Whatever opportunities, we wanted to continue with this institute. And once again, I thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to say a few words in this function. And let us continue our relationship. And I think in the near future, we should have a lot of exchange, students exchange or faculty exchange, and combined research programs. See, just now we had a discussion about the impact of social media network, as well as impact of these, the entertainment world, like OTT, how this OTT has driven out the existing, the entertainment sources. So there are a lot of scope in understanding, analyze, and doing research and getting job in these markets. So I think this particular program will definitely highlight all those opportunities so that our students can take a thread from this, and then they can explore all the possibilities to be more successful in their future. So thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kumar.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to request our Deputy Dean, Dr. S. Albert Anthony Raj, CSH SRMIST, to felicitate the program.
Please.
Respected Dean, sir, the chief guest of today's program, Eric, head of the Department of French, heads of other departments, faculty members, and students, friends who are connected through this program. Good afternoon to you all. So really, it's a wonderful day for every one of us, as we are going to get some information about the studies in France. See, many of our youngsters who are doing their undergraduation will be highly motivated to go to a foreign country to continue their higher education. There may be many reasons for choosing their option to have or continue their higher studies in foreign countries. They may look for different environment where they want to get different great experiences. And there may be very good programs that may improve or increase their career opportunities, which can help them to be more self-reliant economically. And also, they may be looking for different avenues through which their strengths can be exposed and maybe enhanced. And also, many of our students would always look forward for gaining knowledge with practical experiences, for which they may strive to go abroad in different educational institutions to continue their studies. There may be several reasons, but this has been changed, that rather than going for higher education in India, if we look for a foreign country, that would increase the opportunity of our career development. That's the way our youngsters are striving more. Of course, there may be yes and no's from every end, but I'm sure that this program is going to give them a very good information about the different higher studies operations that are higher education operation opportunities that are available to do in France. Really, this is going to be a very good eye-opener session for every one of our students. I really thank our Dean Sir for having accepted this program, and Mr. Kumaravel, the head of the Department of French, who has planned meticulously and organized this program for our students, inviting a very good personnel, Eric, right, from French Languages Department. Sir, I'm sure that this is going to be a wonderful day. And I thank Mr. Eric for having accepted the invitation from the College of Science and Humanities, SRMIST, and going to share very good information with all our students, friends. I wish that this program a grand success. Thank you everyone for this wonderful opportunity, great sharing, right, on this particular program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for those warm and enlightening words. We've started the event with such positivity. And now we'll be introducing our chief guest for the event in French and English. Divyanshi, the floor is yours.
Maintenant, j'aimerais vous présenter notre invité principal pour l'événement aujourd'hui. Il est actuellement attaché pour la coopération de langue française. Il a fait son master en littérature française à l'Université de la Sorbonne à Paris. Il est titulaire d'un diplôme du formateur en enseignement de la langue étrangère. Il est également le directeur d'école secondaire en France.
He is currently the attaché for the Cooperation in French language. He has done his master's in French literature from Sorbonne University, Paris. He has a diploma of trainer in foreign language teaching and is also the head of secondary schools in France. Il a beaucoup d'expérience à l'étranger. Il a été professeur de langue étrangère française aux États-Unis et en Thaïlande, directeur des cours Alliance française en Écosse, attaché de coopération pour le français et directeur des cours Institut français en Autriche et en Bulgarie, attaché de coopération pour le français Institut français en Inde depuis novembre 2019, en charge de la promotion du français dans les 6 États du sud de l'Inde.
He has a vast foreign experience. He has been a French foreign language teacher in the USA and Thailand, course director at Alliance Française, Scotland, attaché for cooperation in French language, and course director, Institut Français in Austria and Bulgaria, attaché for cooperation in French language, Institut Français in India since November 2019, in charge of promoting French language in the 6 southern states of India. Veuillez souhaiter la bienvenue à Monsieur Eric Peretel.
So the floor is yours.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. I'm very impressed by your French. Thank you very much. So, bonjour, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you very much, dear Dr. Doraisamy, Dr. Raj, and Mr. Kumaravel. I'm very happy to be with you today. It's a great opportunity for me to be today with you, with Shruti, my colleague from Campus France. Before to start, I should say maybe what's the French Institute is, or in French, Institut Français. The French Institute is the cultural department of the Embassy of France. I will give you the link later after my speech. So we are working on the cooperation between India and France on the linguistic department, cultural department, higher education department, what's concerned education and culture. We are not working on the economic aspect or defense because these belong to the embassy by itself. I'd like to start my speech with the word mobility. As students, you've got to think and to see what is international mobility, not only as a matter of learning a language or to go sightseeing, which is already very good, but also as a way to discover another culture and beyond this discovery, as an access to another way of thinking, and thus being able to take a critical look at your own culture. It will be easier to find a job because it reflects in the candidate an open mind. I'm going to give you some figures about French language, but before that, let me remind you that France is the first country to have reopened its borders to students in July 2020 after the first wave of the pandemic. If France is the first tourist destination in the world, it's also the third most popular destination for international students and the world's fifth largest economy. French, along with English, is the only language spoken on all continents. It is taught in nearly every country worldwide. It is the third most useful language for business and the primary or secondary language of many international organizations, as you may know, such as United Nations, AU, NATO, WTO, and the International Olympic Committee. French is the official language in 29 countries and will continue to grow in influence in emerging markets in the forthcoming years. Usually we think about France, Belgium, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Canada, but many other countries speak French, especially on the African continent. About 40% of the world's French speakers live in Europe, with another 50% based in Africa. With 300 million speakers worldwide, French is the fifth most spoken language in the world, behind Mandarin Chinese, English, Spanish, and depending on estimates, Arabic or Hindi. And by 2050, the number of French speakers in the world, it's projected to reach the number of 750 million, thanks to rising fluency and population growth in Africa. So you see from 300, we would go to 750 million. What about France and India today? We've got long-standing and historical ties between India and France. I'm not coming on that, even if this year we're celebrating also the 75th anniversary of the diplomatic relation between our two countries. Today, France is the 7th largest investor in India and India's largest European employer, and remains very present and active in several important sectors. We've got about 1,000 French companies in India. Most of them are in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, around Chennai and Bangalore. These companies employ about 350,000 skilled employees, and most of these companies look for Indian students who've got an experience in France or in a French-speaking country, and an understanding French working methods. And I very often meet a manager of companies, big or medium-sized companies, and they always tell me that when they have two candidates with the same skills, with the same CV, they will take the one who has been abroad, no matter if it's in France, but just to show that there is a mobility in his profile. The economic exchange between France and India have created a renewed interest in foreign languages. Now, where can you learn French in India if you want to take extra classes? Because as I can hear, I mean, you've got already very good teachers, but if you want to take extra classes, maybe you might know that we have a network of Alliance Française, which is a cultural centers where they have cultural activities and they have courses as well. The nearest for you, of course, will be the Alliance Française Madras in Chennai. And again, you will find the link later after my speech. The Alliance Française is part of our official diplomatic network in the world. They offer courses at different levels, from beginner to advanced, and classes are scheduled in the morning, afternoon, and evening during the week, but also over the weekend. And of course, since March 2020 online. Now, if you register as a student to the Alliance Française, you will get access to the online library. It's a free online library. Going to France doesn't mean that you have to be fluent in French. And then Shruti is going to come back to that later. But with basis, it will help you to survive in your everyday life and will facilitate meeting French people. Again, Shruti will tell you later, but with a B2 level, you can get access to every program taught in French, opportunities to get an internship. It will be easier to find a job in France, but also in India or in any other country with a French company. As I said before, French companies are looking for young talents who have experienced the French educational and work culture. Don't forget that. In addition to their knowledge of French, as small as it may be, a candidate will be better placed to understand the different points of views related to intercultural issues. You know that in this era of globalization, it has become imperative to learn a foreign language. And as it is a lucrative resource, not just for scientific research, business and technology, but also hospitality and tourism. The present health crisis has spawned a global economic crisis, including a challenging job market. In the given scenario, the French language becomes an asset for those who are looking for jobs, as French investments are widely spread across all major sectors of industrial activity, such as energy, pharma, agribusiness, defense, aerospace, and so on, not to forget education and tourism. I will now give the floor to my colleague Shruti from Campus France. Shruti will give you lots of information regarding the possibilities you have to study in France. Thank you very much for your attention. Merci.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur Eric, pour l'heure et les mots précieux. Je suis sûr que nos étudiants ont appris beaucoup et vous parlez sur le pays, l'économie, les opportunités. C'est très utile et intéressant.
And now I would like to call Ms. Shruti Mariam Joseph, an alumni from College of Science and Humanities, SRMIST, and the co-manager of Campus of France, Chennai, to present the opportunities for studies in France.
Thank you so much to everyone present here. Thank you to the Dean, the Deputy Dean, as well as the HOD, Mr. Kumaravel, for having organized this session. So I will be doing a presentation, a very general presentation about studies in France. One second, let me just share my screen. Yeah, okay. So when you think about France, the first thing that might come to your head is, about the cuisine or the fashion, France being a romantic country, the various art monuments, the architecture, and various other aspects of, the country itself. But something which is very noteworthy is the educational opportunities which are present in this country. So France is one of the top destinations for higher education among international students. And this is because of a number of reasons, which we will find out as we proceed with the presentation. So the first thing to explain would be what exactly is Campus France. So as your classmate has mentioned, I am the co-manager, one of the managers at Campus France, and I take care of the region of Pondicherry and Tamil Nadu. So what is Campus France? Campus France is basically a government agency that comes under the Ministry of Higher Education and Research, as well as the Ministry of External Affairs. So we have, our objective is basically to promote higher education in France among Indian students. So to do this, we do a number of things. So basically we organize webinars, Q&A sessions, Instagram sessions, a lot of workshops, CV SOP workshops, domain-specific workshops, basically to promote higher education in France and to inform the students about all the opportunities available to them in all of these domains. And apart from promotion of the higher educational opportunities, we do a number of other services as well, like one-on-one counseling sessions, So right now, because of the COVID pandemic, these counseling sessions are happening virtually. So this is a one-on-one session where we guide you according to your study plan. So based on your profile and what you want to do later on, we help you to figure out the courses that is available for you, and how to go about with the admission process, and basically guide you right from the beginning to the end. So these sessions are completely free, and all you have to do is get in touch with us, and we can schedule a session at the next available slot. It's very simple. So apart from that, we also help with the visa processing. So you will have to, if you're planning to study in France for a program which is more than 3 months, you will have to go through Campus France for your visa application. So at this point, we help you with the visa application. We do an academic interview, and I will run you through the process as we proceed. Okay, so speaking about the network as such, so like Eric had mentioned, Campus France comes under the French Institute in India and under the French Embassy as well in India. And in India, we have 12 Campus France offices, pan-India, with 14 Campus France managers. So in the south, as you can see, we have offices in Kochi, in Hyderabad, in Bangalore, as well as in Chennai. And we have 2 managers in Chennai. We are also headed by our attaché for academic and scientific cooperation, as well as the deputy attaché. Okay, so to give you a little idea about the differences between the education systems between France and India. So as you know, in India, we have the 12th standard exam, followed by which you have your bachelor's. So the duration of this bachelor's varies depending on the kind of course you're taking. So it can be a 3-year, 4-year, or a 5-year bachelor's in India, followed by a 2-year master program. And then you have your PhD program, which goes between 3 to 5 years. So similarly in France, they have something called the baccalaureate, which is the equivalent of your 12th standard exam, and followed by which you have the licence, which is your bachelor's degree, and this is for 3 years. And then you have 2 years of your master's program and 3 years of your doctoral program. So it comes to a total of 8 years. Something else which is very unique to the relationship between India and France is that India entered into an intergovernmental agreement with France in 2018-19, where the qualifications, the educational qualifications between the 2 countries were mutually recognized. So this basically means that your 12th standard, your bachelor's, your master's, your doctoral programs, the certificates that you get is recognized in France, and the baccalaureate, the licence, the master, and the doctorate which you get in France is recognized in India. So you wouldn't have to do an additional exam or an additional test to apply to courses in France, and vice versa for students in France to apply to courses in India. So this is one of the first such intergovernmental contracts agreements entered into by India. And this is, and also speaking about the 12th standard exam, so this is applicable through all the boards. So your CBSE or State Board, ICSE, everything. So it covers all the boards as well. Okay. So moving on to the universities which are there in France. So as Eric had again mentioned, we have around 1,600 courses that are taught entirely in English. So there is a big misconception going on that students need to know French to study in France, which is not the case. Definitely there are benefits to studying the language, which was already mentioned, but you don't really, if you're planning to go for a course that is taught in English, French would not be a requirement for that particular course. So so we have around 1,600 plus courses in different domains. So as you can see, we have public universities, management and business schools, engineering schools, architecture. You have your private institutions for specialized schools, arts and design, as well as doctoral research programs and schools for that as well, and the Grande École. So Grande École, if you are not aware, is a very elite kind of an institution. You can equate it to the Ivy League schools, which you can see in America. So basically for entering into a Grande École, students in France, like the French nationality students, would have to, write an exam or go through preparatory courses to be even eligible to apply to such schools. But something which is very beneficial for us is, as Indian students or international students, you would not have to go through these exams or courses to apply to a Grande École. You will be eligible to directly apply to the Grande École itself. And it is very competitive, definitely, but it is competitive because of the the kind of institution that it is. It is very few in number, which is why it is very exclusive, and it provides degrees which are really influential as such. Okay, so speaking about the benefits which are available as an international student in France. So the first thing to know is there is no discrimination between an international student or a foreign student and a French nationality student. So the benefits that are available to a French student would also be available to an international student. For example, you can take the social security, which is a benefit offered by the French government. So the social security basically covers around 60 to 70% of your medical expenses. So this recently this has been it's become available to even international students. Previously, it was meant only for the French students, but now it's become accessible to all the students. In fact, it's become mandatory even. The next thing to note is the tuition fees. So France, the French government, the public universities in France offer heavily subsidized tuition fees. So you end up paying only 1/3 of the entire tuition fee. So for example, if you are applying to a public university in France for say a master's program, you would have to pay only 3,770 euros usually. And if it is a bachelor's program, it comes to 2,770 euros. Private institutions are a little more expensive, but when you compare it with countries like US, UK, or Australia, it ends up being a lot more cheaper, not only the tuition expenses, but also your living expenses. So this basically is to invite more students to study in France and to experience this intercultural this experience as such. The next 2 points would be with regard to housing. So France, the French government also provides a lot of benefits when it comes to that. So you have something called the CAF, the CAF, which is your Family Allowance Fund. It basically means that up to 30% of your rent is subsidized. That is, it is reimbursed by the government. And this is a benefit that a lot of students use. You can start availing of this benefit once you reach France. And the next one is the cruise. The cruise is a public residency accommodation provided by the French government. It is comparatively a lot more cheaper to private residences because it is subsidized by the French government. So for example, you end up paying very minimal amounts, like you in Paris itself, which is a little more expensive than the other regions in France, you will end up having to pay a rent of around 400 euros. Whereas in other regions in France, it would be 200 euros for cruise accommodation. So because it is, a lot more cheaper, there is a lot of competition to get into this accommodation. So applications for cruise accommodation starts very early in the year, and a lot of students, want to get into it because of how affordable it is. And the next thing is your part-time work. So as an international student, with a student visa, you have a right to work part-time for up to 19.5 hours a week, and while you're studying. So we always tell students that although your objective of going to France is to study, it is also to experience this intercultural atmosphere, to get to build your network and a lot of other things. So you can do that while you work, and it is also a really wonderful way to supplement your budget as well. So you should always know that there is an option to work part-time while you are studying as well, because we are all going on a budget. It is not very cheap, so it is a significant investment that you're making. So it is nice to know that there is an option to earn while you're studying as well. And the other benefits as such would be your subsidies, which are available for a lot of other areas like public transport, libraries, restaurants, cafeterias, a lot of other museums and other heritage centers and cultural centers. Okay, so speaking about the catalog. So for example, if one of you come to us with a request for counseling, or you want to study in France, but you do not know how to proceed and where to start with, what we would do is we would provide you with the resources that we have. So we have a lot of catalogs. We have catalogs for English taught programs. We have catalogs for French taught programs, for PhD programs, for short-term programs, French programs, a lot of different programs based on what they offer. So this is what the English taught catalog looks like. We have around 1,600 courses which are taught entirely in English. It's very easy to use and very you get all your information under each course. So the eligibility criteria, the selection procedure, how to go about applying, contact information, everything is provided under each course. You just have to type in the keywords of what you're looking for, and you get a list of options. Similarly for short-term programs and other programs as well. And as Eric had mentioned before, we do have a catalog dedicated only for French taught programs. And if you happen to have a B2 level, you can access those programs as well. And you will see that there is a lot more choice in the French taught programs and more specialized themes as well. So you do need a French certificate for that, a DELF B2. So if you happen to have that, you can very easily access those programs as well. Okay, so coming to the application and the admission as such. So in France, the application process depends upon the institution or the university that you're going to study in. For example, you majorly have public universities and private institutions. If you're opting to study in a private institution, what we do is we give you the contact information about the representatives of those institutions, and you can directly get in touch with them to know more about the program, how to apply, how to clear all your doubts before you apply. And that is something that you do directly with the institution itself. If it is public universities, a lot of the universities, a major part of the universities will require you to apply through Campus France, for these universities. So in this such case, we do the application process as well, apart from the visa process. So you will also find a few public universities that require a direct application, where you don't have to apply through us, but you can directly apply with the university and then come back to us with your application, with your acceptance letter for your visa process. And some universities expect you to do both of this, so through Campus France as well as directly. So this depends on each university, and we will guide you through the application procedure on how to go about figuring out, the application process as such. So this is basically a guideline of how to apply for a public university through Campus France. So we have a portal dedicated for this. So this is called the Ethiopians Portal portal. It is a procedure which is followed by a lot of countries, as in the French government expects a lot of countries to follow this procedure, and India is one such country. So the Ethiopians portal is where you upload all your documents. You will have to create your profile on the website and upload all your documents, your CV, your motivational letters, your educational documents, your work experience certificates, your personal details, passport, everything you'll have to apply on the website. And you have the option to choose up to 7 programs for your master's. If you're applying for a master's, if you want to study your master's in France, you have the choice of applying to 7 different programs. It can be 7 programs in one university or 7 different programs in different universities. And you will then have to pay a one-time Campus France processing fees, which comes to around 17,500 rupees. So this fees is for the entire Campus France procedure. It's not separate for each program. It's just one-time fees that you pay for the entire process. And then we will schedule an interview with you. This is an academic interview that we conduct. And after the interview is done, we push your file to the universities. The only difference between this application process and the application for private institutions is that you will not have to, you will not be selecting your programs for private institutions. You will just directly come to us with your acceptance letter, and we do an interview. And then again, push your file for the visa. So moving on to the scholarships which are available in France. As you can see, the French government offers scholarships which are worth 1 million euros or 10 crore rupees for Indian students. And more than 500 scholarships are offered to students every year. And the scholarships are offered at different levels. So you have scholarships for bachelor's, for master's, and for PhD levels, and for various domains as well. And so the different scholarships have their own eligibility criteria and requirements, but usually the maximum age limit is 30 years. And a few scholarships, you will see that the age limit is 25. And it is awarded purely on the basis of merit. So it is only based on your profile, on your SOP, and your marks as well. There is no cutoff, or there's no cutoff for your CGPA as such. We invite all students with all CGPAs to apply, but it is given purely on a merit basis. And here it's something important to note that it is not mandatory to know French to apply for a scholarship, but it is definitely seen as an asset because it sets you apart from students who do not have the advantage of knowing the language. So if you have done any DELF or DALF levels in French or any courses in French, you can definitely attach that with your scholarship application because it adds a lot of weight to your profile. And then if you're awarded a scholarship, you are given the title of a scholarship, a French scholarship, government scholarship holder, which has its own benefits as well. So just to give you an idea about the different scholarships, I will take you through the logos. So as you can see, you have the Thales logo, which is for programs related to aerospace, robotics, communications, and courses like that. It's domain specific. And you have the Erasmus Plus scholarship, which is a European Union scholarship. You have the Franco-Indian Education Trust, which have their own scholarships. It is co-financed by both the French Embassy as well as the Krishna Kriti Foundation. And there are scholarships which come under those as well, like the Ugam Legrand Scholarship, which is given for students who come from an economically weaker background. the most important scholarship to note is the Chatbook Scholarship. So the Chatbook Scholarship is a French government scholarship for Indian students, and it is, I will I will take you through the different levels in the next slide. There are also several other scholarships at institutional level. So you have the Rennes Business School, you have ISA, you have a lot of institutions which provide their own scholarships in association with the French embassy. Yes, like Sciences Po has the Emmy Boutmy scholarship, you have the Paris-Saclay scholarship, you have ISA, MBTA. So all of these are the different scholarships which are available at an institutional level. And then at the the government level, you have the Chatbook Scholarship, the Erasmus Plus, and other scholarships as well. Another one which is a very important scholarship is the Epil Scholarship. So this scholarship is available to students from all over the world. It is an international scholarship, so there's a lot more competition, but it offers a lot of benefits as well. And so the applications for the Epil scholarships open a lot earlier because it's very competitive and a lot of students do apply for them. And for this particular scholarship, you as a student would not be able to apply directly. It will be of institution where you've been admitted to. They are the ones who will apply for it on your behalf. This is only for the Epil scholarship. Yeah, so just to take you through the Chatbook scholarships. We have the Chatbook Lab scholarship, which is for students who want to spend a few months in France. So this is available at the bachelor's as well as the master's level for who want to spend around 2 to 3 months in France doing an internship or a lab experience. We have the Chatbook Master Scholarship, which is now open. It has been opened in Jan and it stays open. The deadline is till the end of March. Some of the benefits of the Chatbook Scholarship is you get a living allowance, you get your student visa fee and your campus trans fee, which is at 17,500. So that gets waived off. You have a tuition fee waiver of up to 5,000 rupees, and you have assistance to find accommodation as well. Apart from these, you have the Chatbook Exchange Scholarship. So this is for institutions which have an MOU with a French institution and send students on an exchange program. So basically, this is available for 2 intakes. So you have your spring intake as well as the autumn intake, and it is available at the bachelor's and the master's level. And so the benefits for those are 700 euros in living expenses, your student visa and campus fee, France fee waived off, as well as assistance for accommodation as well. To internships in France. So an internship forms a very integral part of your study experience in France. We always encourage students to choose programs which have an internship as part of the program itself, because this is your real chance to experience the business environment in France, to get a real experience of how working in a French company actually is, which is really important since you're studying in France. So if you're doing an internship in France, you, as per law, you will be paid if your internship is usually more than 2 months. You will be compulsorily paid the minimum wage, which happens to be 550 to 650 euros a month. And you will also be entering into a convention de stage or an internship contract between the institution, your French institution, and the French company where you're doing your internship. And like Eric had mentioned previously, the more you know French, the more opportunities you have to find internships. So there is no concept of campus placement in France in French institutions, but they do offer a lot of internships. They bring in a lot of companies to help with internships. So it is up to you to convert those internships into full-time jobs. So you will have a lot more options if you know the language. Even the basics of the language, if you happen to know, you will have a lot more options, because it sets you apart from the students who do not have the advantage of knowing the language. But this does not mean that if you do not know the language, you won't find an internship. It is possible, but it would be a little more difficult. So that's why we always suggest that students start learning the language right before they leave, and then you can always pick it up as you study over there. And this was already covered by Eric, so I will move on. We also have the France Alumni Network. So once you finish your studies in France, we don't leave you alone. So once you come back to India, we have a very large France Alumni Network, which is slowly building up. And basically, this is your chance to get to know the other students who have studied along with you, to keep in touch with them, to build your professional network, and to also get, we post a lot of job opportunities which are available in India, and you can have access to all of those. We have a LinkedIn page, we have WhatsApp groups region-wise where you can get to know the different events that we're organizing. We organize a lot of alumni meets and events where we invite other companies as well. And it's a great chance to, network and build your contacts. One second, my screen is stuck. Okay, till it comes back, I will anyway move on. So the next slide was for the French language. So it is, again, not mandatory to know the language if you're doing a course which is taught in English. But it is definitely an advantage because it gives you more opportunities for, for scholarships, for the different options, different programs which are available, internships, job opportunities, and so on. And also, so how you can start is there are, like Eric had mentioned, the Alliance Française. You can also opt for French courses in the universities where you will be studying in France. A lot of them offer French courses for international students. So that is, a great option, a great way of getting more credits as well. And we can always start right before you leave. If you do a couple of levels here, you can go to France and continue. And by the time you're done with your program, you would maybe reach a B2 level, which would be sufficient to, search for a job over there. 1 second, please hold on. Yes, so speaking about, sorry. Yeah, so this is the last part of the presentation. So this is mainly for the visa. So what are the different visas available to you as an international student? So if you're going for a course which is less than 3 months, you will be given a short stay student visa. If it is for more than 3 months, it's a long-term student visa. And as already mentioned, with the student visa, you get to work around 20 hours per week. You also get to travel freely in the Schengen area itself. And that is once you validate your visa. And you also get the rent subsidy as the CAF will be eligible for the up to 30% of your rent being reimbursed. And yeah, apart from that, we have the post-study student visa. So basically, this is once you finish your studies in France at a master's level, once you finish your studies, you will be eligible for an APS visa. So your APS visa is a temporary long stay visa, and it is given on a 1+1 year basis. So it's given for 1 year, and then you have to renew it for the second year. So this is for students who have completed a recognized master's program in France. And basically, this is your chance to look for a job, to create your company if you want to, and basically to look for more opportunities. And you are not restricted to France, but you can search for opportunities within the Schengen zone itself. And apart from that, we also have the alumni visa. So the alumni visa is a 5-year visa, which is given once you finish your studies in France, after you finish your master's or the PhD level. And so this is a multiple short-term short stay visa. So it's given for 90 days with a gap of 90 days. And again, you are free to move within the Schengen zone with this visa, and it is also extended to your spouse and children as well. So irrespective of which year you have graduated, you will be able to apply for this visa. So these are just some of the options which are available to you once you finish your course and you're planning to stay back in France to look for a job or other opportunities. Yeah, so I would like to take this opportunity to talk to you about a particular education fair which is coming up in the month of March. So on 11th March, we have the Choose France tour, which we are organizing, which Campus France and the Embassy and Institut Français is organizing. So this is basically one of the biggest fairs that we organize every year. We organize it twice a year. And it has been virtual for the past 3-4 tours because of the pandemic. And this time is also virtual. So we'll be doing it in the month of March on the 11th from 4 to 9 p.m. So this is your opportunity to meet around 30 French institutions. You can get free counseling from them directly. You can get one-to-one counseling with the institutions, talk to them about your doubts, the various programs available to get all your queries cleared. You can also get free counseling from the Campus France managers as well. There will be several webinars which are organized for scholarships, for visa procedures, internships, and job opportunities. So we also have booths for faculty members, for heads of institutions to participate, and they will be able to interact with the attaches, with the heads of for the scientific and academic cooperation, where they can discuss about possibilities of academic collaborations, the possibilities of exchanges, MOUs, and other things as well. So it is basically an education fair where you can find out more about France, get yourself informed, clear all your doubts, and get an idea of what exactly studying in France would actually mean. So I will share the link for the registration link for this particular talk. So once you register, you get updates about the different institutions which are participating, the links, the webinar links, the registration, the Zoom links, and other things as well. You get day-to-day updates on what is happening. So I would really encourage you to register and keep yourself informed closer to the date. So this is where I would stop. So in Chennai, we have 2 managers right now, myself as well as my colleague. So basically, you can reach out to us with these email IDs, and we will be happy to organize counseling sessions with you. We have it virtually right now. We'll be very happy to guide you through the different processes if you have any doubts, to help you figure out which course you want to do, or to just clear your doubts. So you can always reach out to us by email, and we will be very happy to help you out. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very informative and helpful, and the opportunities look very promising. And this has definitely opened up new doors for our students to explore, gain new knowledge, and grow. Now, if anyone has any questions, please post them in the Q&A section, and we'll address them.
I think there are a few questions already.
Yeah.
I see 3 questions.
So there is a question for fashion. So yeah, we do have a lot of courses for fashion management, for fashion designing as well. What you can do is you can maybe, I will add my email ID, you can maybe email me, and we can provide more details with the catalogs as well as counseling sessions. There's a question for English and French taught programs. So it actually depends. It's not the language that is taken into account for the fees, it is the institution. So for public universities, you will see that the fees are a lot more cheaper, because it is subsidized by the French government. So the fees for public universities would end up being around 500 to 4,000 euros, depending on which level you're doing. For private institutions, it is a little more expensive. You can find courses starting from 4,000 euros and upwards. So depending on which institution you're going for, the region, a lot of things are taken into account. It is not the English or the French. The language is not the the criteria for the fees, for the tuition fees. The Campus France processing fees is 17,500 rupees. You do not need a blocked account to study in France. I think this was required previously, but it is not required right now.
If there are no other questions, I'll pass it on to Shanche to give the vote of thanks.
Yes, works. So I would like to extend my gratitude to the Dean, Dr. Dorai Sami, Deputy Dean, Dr. S. Albert Anthony Raj, esteemed Chief Guest, Monsieur Eric Perotel, Presenter Ms. Shruti, SRM Management, HOD, faculty, and students. This has been a great platform to explore and increase our awareness on the different opportunities available in France. I'm sure our attendees have been noting it down and will positively reply back with great enthusiasm. Have a great evening, take care, and stay safe.
Merci Sanjay and Divanshi. Merci Monsieur Eric Perotel. We want to close the section. Dean sir. Yes. Okay, fine. We're going to close this section. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Yes, merci, Monsieur Eric.
Merci
beaucoup.
Okay,
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.